Welcome back to Unleashed on TNT. I'm Mark Morano. All right, we're continuing with Donna Jackson of Project 21. You mentioned the replacement theory. Many people say that if you even talk about that, you're a racist by the fact that it doesn't exist. I just want to read you something. This is the LA Times 2013. A climate activist Bill McKibben is urging more illegal immigration so, quote, Latinos could replace white Americans' voting impact. He says, election after election, native-born citizens pull the lever for climate deniers. By contrast, 77% of Latino voters think climate change is happening. Here we have on the pages of the LA Times urging more illegal immigration so that we could get people to vote out white climate deniers. Is that an example of replacement theory, or am I a racist for even asking you that question?
I mean, it's the truth is the truth. I mean, that's really what they want to do. But they really do. It's not white Americans they want to replace. It's really minorities that they feel like are getting out of hand or they're losing control over. All of a sudden they thought they had this hold on Black Americans that would do anything they want because I say this all the time. It's two ways you build the government: war and the poor. And you need the poor to stay poor in order to build that. So you can't have these people that want to actually become prosperous. The majority of the time, you have Latino Americans that are native born here. When they become more prosperous, they actually become whiter and whiter. All of a sudden, they're not identifying as Latinos; they're identifying as white Americans. And the only thing when I say that, I mean it. I mean that as people become naturalized citizens and they love this country, they begin to see that the rights and the responsibilities that we have in this country is favorable to them, and they want to make sure that everybody has that same economic opportunity. That's why when you get older, you become more conservative because you realize, wait a minute, it's my duty to make sure that not only do I have an equitable, equal opportunity, but that other people have that. It's not saying that I give up taking care of my family, but you understand the basis of this country is free to everyone, and it should be that way. Uh, Liberal policies are all about making sure that you exclude people from as many freedoms as there is. It's about excluding people. Conservatism and conservative policies are making sure people are included in as many possibilities and freedoms as they're available. But it's our responsibility to make sure that happens. But what you have is individuals who want to dictate, you get this, you get this, you don't get this, and you don't get this. It's not about making sure that everybody can decide their own destinies. And so that's what this is all about, making sure you have people that are used to being controlled. When they have all of these illegal immigrants come in, they tell them what you can do, what you can't do, and they dictate what each freedom each person can have. When you are financially free, you become more equal because you can decide what you'll do and what you don't. And that's what they don't want you to have control over. You don't feel like when people say racism, they're not saying like, I don't like the way you feel about me personally. They're saying, I don't feel financially secure. That's what racism, when they say racism, that's what they mean. When you become more financially secure, you don't worry about those kinds of issues. So what they really want to do is make sure that the more they flood the market, the more people are pulled back into poverty because all of a sudden there's not enough resources to go along. We have a shrinking middle class right now because all of these resources are taken away. You got hospitals overwhelmed, you got schools overwhelmed. And so all of a sudden, You have scarcity in homes. People can't buy the things they need to actually create wealth. And that's what you're seeing right now. So, of course, they want to replace everybody. They want to replace the middle class is what they want to do. And it's easy to do that if the middle class has to give up all of their money to support all of these new people coming in that don't have a way to take care of themselves.
All right, well, let's talk about that, the crushing of the middle class. In 1972 presidential race, I think it was the Democrat nomination race. It was Humphrey versus McGovern. And one of the contentious issues was the guaranteed minimum income, or universal basic income, as they now call it. This is now that it failed at the time because everyone thought it was just so outlandish and it would affect human behavior. But now, fast forward, it's becoming sort of a global standard, and particularly in the United States, there's been communities that try to push this. What impact is this having? Crushing the middle class, crushing small mom and pop businesses. New York City just now regulations essentially that's going to crush these old pizzerias, about 100 plus pizzerias in New York City that use wood-fired ovens because of the climate and pollutant impact. They're going to have to pay all this extra money. Small businesses being crushed, replaced with national chains. So the government and the people, World Economic Forum and others, want to push this idea that don't worry, we will give you a guaranteed minimum income from the government. And of course, those people who receive it are going to be beholden to voting for the politicians that do it. What are your thoughts on the government giving people a guaranteed minimum income as opposed to letting them fail and or grow into a healthy middle class?
Well, if the happiest people on earth were the people that had universal basic incomes, then why are we talking about systematic racism? I mean, African Americans are the group that has the largest amount of these government subsidies. And then, so why are we complaining? I mean, we should be whistling while we work, or walking up and down the street, telling everybody that this is the happiest place on earth. The hoods, the ghettos should be the happiest place on earth because everybody's getting, food stamps and subsidies and all of that stuff. If people were happy because someone else gave them the bare minimum that you need to live on, then we should all be striving to be like the ghettos. We should be striving to go into low income communities where everybody has universal basic incomes. Go and see how happy everybody is. They're not. They're mad at you because you can afford to go on a vacation when you want to. You have discretionary income to buy whatever you want to. You can invest in colleges. You can invest and send your kids to places. You can leave a will to your family to fight over. I mean, these are things that make no sense because every time they advocate, first of all, you can't make everybody whole. And the other thing is they're going to always give you a standard of living that's lower than the minimum wage that a part-time employee can live off of. There's no opportunity for upward mobility, advancement, promotions, nothing. And so the fact that people are promoting this, what they're trying to do is get you used to living without. That's the first thing. Create scarcity and make people think that it's normal for you to go without. Make people feel like it's normal for you not to have enough. Make it feel like food insecurity, energy insecurity is the way we're supposed to live. And I can tell you right now, when you live that way, you're always in survival mode. It's never a good feeling. So the fact that they're trying to force people into this situation, there's prisons that you commit a crime and they put fences around, and then there's open air prisons. That's the ones that they let you walk around with. They call them smart cities where you don't own anything, you don't have anything, but you're still a prisoner. It's still prison, whether they let you go home to your family or not. And that's what they're trying to push everybody into. If
By the way,
giving people universal basic incomes makes you happy, then there is no racism.
CNN recently had an article promoting the idea of carbon passports for travel, issued to every citizen, where the government would monitor how much your train mileage and airline travel, and you could only travel if you were within your carbon passport limit. What are your thoughts on those kind of proposals that are making it to CNN now?
Well, again, open air prisons, where you get to go out in the yard for a couple of days a day, a couple of hours a day, so you get some air and then come back. It's the same concept. They want these smart cities, they call them smart cities. I call them open air prisons. They don't want you to travel, they don't want you to go too far. Henry Ford built the Model T. I cannot stress that enough. Henry Ford built the Model T and made it available to everyone. That was the biggest attribute to freedom, because people could leave their communities. You built the suburbs with that. You built the vacations where people can have. You gave people greater job opportunities. You gave people the opportunity to be able to eat at different places and have different experiences. What they want to do is take that away and force people to stay within a 10-mile radius. How is that not different than prison? It isn't. That is what they want. People to be
All right.
confined to their own little cubic spaces. And that's, if you want to drive people crazy, you want to see more violence, that's how you do it, because people are always fighting for space and they want to enjoy all the rest of the world for themselves, while we are confined to our little boxes in our open air prisons, and we're supposed to be happy about it.
All right, final question. You only have about 30 seconds. Easter eggs. They want to replace them with potatoes for the carbon footprint reduction. Should we be content with having Easter potatoes, or should we demand Easter eggs? What are your thoughts on that?
Eggs is a sign of life. Again, this is an attack on women. Don't make people think that, oh my God, an egg, we shouldn't be aborting all of our kids and killing them. Maybe there is life. This again, it's the attack on women. They don't want to have any reminder. Nobody out there crying about why did I give up my kids? Is this better being a teller than being at home raising a family? These people, we have already one potato head. We don't need to have, potato head.
All right, on that note, great line. Thank you so much, Donna Jackson, Project 21. This has been Unleashed with Mark Morano on TNT. Thanks for watching. See you next time.